In this lecture, I want to talk about a property of Bayesian reasoning known as non-monotonicity. Now, in classical or deductive logic, valid arguments are known to be monotonic. What does that mean? Well, that means that if you give me an argument with premise phi and conclusion psi, and you know that that argument is valid, then you can add a premise and the argument will remain valid. That is, if the argument from phi to psi is valid, then the argument from phi and chi to psi must also be valid. Equivalently, we know that if phi implies psi is a tautology, then phi and chi implies psi must also be a tautology. So a natural question is, what about inductively strong arguments? If the argument from phi to psi is inductively strong, then is it also the case that the argument from phi and chi is also inductively strong? Said differently, if phi supports psi, provides some type of evidential support for psi, then is it the case that phi and chi also provides evidential support for psi? Recall that there are two aspects for what it means to be inductively strong. One is that the conditional probability is greater than 0.5, and the other is that the premise is positively relevant to the conclusion. That is, the probability of psi given phi is greater than the probability of psi. So there are two questions we can ask if we want to know whether or not inductively strong arguments are monotonic. One, in any stochastic truth table, if the probability of psi given phi is greater than 0.5, then the probability of psi given phi and chi must be greater than 0.5. And two, for any stochastic truth table, if the probability of psi given phi is greater than the probability of psi, then the probability of psi given phi and chi is greater than the probability of psi. And we will see that both of these conditions fail. First of all, we're going to be able to find formulas phi, psi, and chi, and a stochastic truth table, such that the probability of psi given phi is greater than 0.5, and the probability of psi given phi and chi is actually less than 0.5. And this is going to show that even if phi evidentially supports psi, that does not mean that phi and chi are going to evidentially support psi. So here's our example. Here we have three atomic propositions, P, Q, and R. There are 8 rows of this truth table. Here are the probabilities. Now, let's just do some calculations. The probability of Q given P is going to be equal to the probability of Q and P divided by the probability of P. Well, Q and P is true in the first 2 rows. So the probability of Q and P is going to be 0.35. That's 0.1 plus 0.25. The probability of P is the sum of the probabilities on the first 4 rows. So that's going to be 0.05 plus 0.2, which is 0.25, plus 0.25, which is 0.5, plus 1, which is 0.6. Now, 0.35 divided by 0.6 is approximately 0.58, which is greater than 0.5. Now let's check, what about the probability of Q given P and R? Well, this is equal to the probability of Q and P and R. So Q and P and R is true in just row 1. So the numerator is going to be 0.1, which is just the probability of this first row. The denominator is the probability of P and R. Well, P and R is true in row 1 and in row 3. And that's the only place where P and R is true. So that's going to be 0.1 plus 0.2. So 0.1 plus 0.2 is 0.3. 0.1 divided by 0.3 is approximately 0.33, which is less than 0.5. So here we have an example. It's a stochastic truth table. We have 3 formulas, P, Q, and R. They're all atomic propositions. The probability of Q given P is greater than 0.5, but the probability of Q given P and R is actually less than 0.5. Here's a more intuitive example. Tweety is a bird, so therefore Tweety flies. Naturally, if somebody tells you that Tweety's a bird, you will assign a probability greater than 0.5 that Tweety flies. However, if somebody says Tweety is a bird and Tweety is a penguin, then the probability that Tweety is flying is much less than 0.5. Might be 0 or slightly above 0. So here's a natural example. This is a classic example. Tweety is a bird, therefore Tweety flies. That is inductively strong. However, Tweety is a bird, Tweety is a penguin, therefore Tweety flies is not inductively strong. Now, the second aspect of what it means to be inductively strong is that the premise phi is positively relevant to psi. That is, assuming phi or supposing phi raises the probability of psi. This part fails as well. So there are formulas phi, psi, and chi, and a stochastic truth table, such that the probability of psi given phi is greater than the probability of psi, and the probability of psi given phi and chi is actually less than the probability of psi. Here's the example. The probability of Q given P is equal to the probability of Q and P divided by the probability of P. So the probability of Q and P is the sum of the probabilities of these first two rows here, because that's where P and Q is true. So that's 0.35. The denominator is the probability of P, which is the sum of the first four rows. So that's 0.25 plus 0.25 plus 1 is 0.6. 0.35 divided by 0.6 is approximately 0.58. But we just have to compare that to the probability of Q. So does P raise the probability of Q? Well, Q is true in the first two rows here, and then these two rows right here. So the probability of Q is 0.05 plus 0.05, which is 0.1, plus 0.25, which is 0.35, plus 1, which is 0.45. So in fact, P does raise the probability of Q. P is positively relevant to Q. So probability of Q is 0.45. When you suppose P is true, then the probability of Q raises to 0.58. What about when you compare with the probability of P and R? So we know that the probability of Q is 0.45. What's the probability of Q given P and R? Well, we know what that calculation is. The probability of Q and P and R, that probability is 0.1. The denominator is the probability of P and R, which is true in the first and third row. So that's 0.1 plus 0.2, which is 0.3. So that is approximately 0.33. So we see that while P raises the probability of Q, P and R actually lowers the probability of Q. So here's the summary. Here's the situation. If the argument from phi to psi is valid, that is deductively valid, then the argument from phi and chi to psi must be valid. So in any valid argument, you can add as many premises as you want, and that will not destroy validity. Similarly, if phi implies psi is a tautology, then you can add any conjunct to the antecedent, and it will remain a tautology. However, this is not true when you talk about or move to inductively strong arguments. There are formulas phi, psi, and chi, and stochastic truth tables, and some threshold greater than or equal to 0.5, such that the probability of psi given phi is greater than P, and the probability of psi given phi and chi is actually less than P. And there are formulas phi, psi, and chi, and a stochastic truth table, such that phi is positively relevant to psi in the sense that it raises the probability of psi, but phi and chi is not positively relevant to psi. In fact, it lowers the probability of psi.